with My Make Studio, and you guys, can you tell? Spooky season is upon us. So today we are going to be doing the Halloween Cupcake Kit, which just, yes, Halloween is my favorite time of year. It's not just a day, it's the whole month of October in my brain. Maybe September, depending on the year, but like, I'm so excited, you guys. So if the sticker right here on your box does not say Halloween Cupcake Kit, no worries, you're probably looking for another video, so go ahead and stop this one and head back to our YouTube channel and find the video that is titled the same as whatever sticker is on your My Make Studio box. If it is the Halloween Cupcake Kit, welcome. It's going to be a spooky time, a spooky fun time. There are a couple of things we have to go over though before we actually start decorating our cupcakes today. So number one is inside your box, there is a box of cake mix. So you will need to bake your cupcakes first. Now if you're like, the ghost took my cupcake pan. It's okay, because inside your box, there is, bam, a cupcake pan, and there are some liners for your cupcakes too. So you may need to fill this up twice, so just follow the directions on your box of cake mix, mix up your batter and all that jazz, bake them, take your cupcakes out, and then you'll probably need to fill it up again. And I do recommend that you keep your cupcakes cold. They're a lot easier to decorate when they're colder, but if you've done this with me before and all that jazz, room temperature is just fine. We just don't want really hot, warm cupcakes because one, they like to rip apart. We're going to be doing a lot of smoothing out today, so if your cupcakes are warm, when we do that smoothing step, you're more likely to rip it off. And two, it turns our icing into a hot, soupy, goopy mess, which would be really awesome for some soupy, goopy mess monster cupcakes, but we're going to make a couple different designs today, so I do recommend that they're room temperature or slightly chilled in the fridge for a little bit. Other than that, you will just need everything that's inside your box, and then a pair of handy-dandy scissors, and some kind of towel. It can be a paper towel, a kitchen towel, a hand towel, just something to wipe our fingers on while we go and put like our open icings on and whatnot to help keep our area a little bit more clean as we decorate today. And then lastly, go ahead and wash your hands super duper good and then you can come on back. So I'm gonna go ahead and get set up and then we're gonna make some Halloween cupcakes. Yeah. And we're back. All right, so today the first cupcake that we're going to do is JackoLantern. So go ahead and pick out whatever cupcake you would like to be your JackoLantern cupcake. And I do want to let you know that you have enough stuff inside your box that the idea is you can make 2 of each design. I'm only going to be doing 1 of each design. However, you are more than welcome to do 2 at a time. You can always pause me. I'll be here when you're all caught up and all that jazz. Or if you would like, you can just do the 6 with me and then you'll have 6 left over and you can get creative and like come up with your own designs if you like. They're your cupcakes. I want you to be happy with them, so whatever works for you. But the first design I'm going to show you how to do today is a jack-o'-lantern. So let's see. I think this feels like a jack-o'-lantern to me. Okay, so I like my jack-o'-lantern to be orange. However, if you want to make it purple instead, you can do that. We do use a lot of purple on our spider, so you might need to use orange instead if you do that. But again, feel free to mix up your colors if you'd like. But I'm going to use orange, and then we're going to take this off, and we're just going to set it aside for now because we'll actually need our lid later. So let's just leave it right there. And then go ahead and remove the little seal. Seal. It matches. Yes. All right. So now on our cupcake, we need to put icing on here. You can do one big swirl. You can do some bloops, some blops, some swirly-doos, a swoopy-doop, or a smiley face if you'd like. But we are going to smooth it all out. We just need to get icing on here. How you get it on there, totally up to you. I'm going to go burp. Oh yeah, you can do ziggy zaggies. It already looks like an A. And then inside your My Make Studio box was a spatula. I got orange today and I'm really excited because it like totally fits with the Halloween vibe. Granted, so would the green one, but I'm excited that I have orange like it was meant to be. But so we are gonna smooth this cupcake out. Now, if you have a metal cake spatula and you would rather use that instead of the one that came in your box, that is totally fine. Whatever's more comfortable for you. I'm going to show you a couple different ways we can smooth things out, though. So when I smooth things out, instead of like this, I turn it like this, and I press it, And then I go side to side, but instead of it being like a windshield wiper blade, it's more like the beginning of a pirate ship ride at a carnival. So I go a little bit up, and then a little bit up. So I rock it back and forth. It's like when it's still just like, oh, this is a big swing before the ride gets crazy. So we're not going, we're just little rocks like this. So that's what I like to do. So I put it in the center, and then I kind of push my icing around just a little bit. Just bit, 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 bit. And then I go side to side, and then you can scrape the edges. Now, if that didn't feel good, I'm not very good at this way, but another way you can do it, I call it the twirling method, is you can put your spatula in the center of your cupcake and twirl it around, and if that doesn't feel good, it is totally okay. Everybody's brains work differently, so if neither one of those feel good, treat your cupcake like it's a very nervous cat. You've been trying to get its attention all day. It's finally jumped in your lap. You gotta pet that cat, but you don't want to freak it out. Very lightly pet your icing in the direction you want it to go. We're trying to cover up the whole top of the cupcake. And for instance, right here, if you can see some cupcake shining through, it just means you need a little bit more icing on there. So go ahead and put another plop on there, and then you can smooth it out. Magic! So the next thing is, I would say go ahead and wipe this off just in case you have like an excessive icing going on. That way we don't like plop it back onto the cupcake. So I just take my towel and fold it. And now we're going to use this part of our spatula, and we're going to make some of those lines that you see in pumpkins, how they're like, hoo, hoo, hoo. I hope that makes sense. But they've got the indents that are lines, so I want to create that illusion here. However, if you're like, I don't like that, you don't have to do it if you don't want to, but I'm going to show you how anyway. So I take the edge, and then I drag it through, and I curve it a little. And then I'm going to have this one go like this. And then I'm going to do another one next to it that's a little curvy. And then I'm going to do one more curvy one here. And I just do that until I think it looks cool. Which honestly, I'm pretty happy with that. Yeah. So now I'm going to set it down, and it is time to make the face for our jack-o'-lanterns. So you're welcome to be creative here. There's no right or wrong way to make a jack-o'-lantern face. Your jack-o'-lantern face can be like, hi, or your jack-o'-lantern face can be like, oh, or blah, blah, blah. Whatever feels right for you. We're just going to put a tip on our black icing and literally draw a jack-o'-lantern face. So it's like when you're carving a pumpkin, how you put the outline on and then you cut that part out. It's kind of similar to that, but like less arm movements and whatnot going into it, and it's a cupcake and not a pumpkin. But I'm going to take my black icing, I'm going to take this off, and then see this little ring? We're going to boop, pop that out, and now this is the coupler ring that attaches our icing tips to our icing tubes, which I just think is so cool that like this is the lid. That's so awesome. I could feel myself about to put my elbow in that. So then we're going to go to our little bag of fun, and there is a container, little baggie that has these funky plastic things in it. Well, those are our icing tips. And we're going to take out the one that looks just like a circle. There's also a booklet inside your My Make Studio box that has a little section of what each tip is called and what they do. We will be going over all of them today, but if you want like a little guideline to like look at while you're doing it, you can totally pull out that little booklet, but we are looking for the one that is just a little tiny circle. So I'm just going to cut this baggie open. And I'm going to take out the circle. That's fine. So then, to put it on, I gotta take the seal off first. Silly Chayla. I'm just too excited. I'm just ready to have Halloween cupcakes. Okay. Once you've removed the seal, take your tip and put it on. And then we're gonna take that little ring and it's gonna go on over it and you're just gonna twist it on there. Now sometimes the tips like to play tag and they're like, no, you can't catch me. No, no. So you might need to apply a little bit of pressure and move them around a bit, but they will go on there. You might just have to like play tag with them for a little bit. So when you twist it on there, it doesn't need to be on so tight that you can't take it off, but it needs to be on tight enough that you do this, it doesn't go flying across the room. And if you would like, you can also grab a toothpick And how we made these indentation lines, you can lightly stencil in your jack-o'-lantern face and use that as like a stencil to follow along with your icing if you're not comfortable freeforming it. I'm going to make my jack-o'-lantern a little spooky. I like all sides of Halloween. I love the cute and adorable, and I love the creepy and terrifying. So I want a nice mix for my jack-o'-lantern face. Again, you can look up jack-o'-lantern faces if you want. You can literally make whatever face you want, and I'm so excited to see what kind of jack-o'-lanterns you guys make. But I'm going to do the classic triangle eyes, triangle nose, and then like a mouth, and then some angry eyebrows. So I start by making my outline, and I like to start with my eyes. There's not a wrong place to start. It's just wherever feels right for you, and for me, I always start with the eyes. A triangle. I want some spiky teeth. Rah, 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 rah. Alright, so I have my outline going on, and now I'm just going to take my black icing, I'm going to fill that in, and then add some lines down on my triangle to make the face. And then right here, how he's kind of got like a, usually, I would take a toothpick and lightly hook it underneath that, and then go boop to get rid of that little line. So if you have something like that going on, that is how you can get rid of it. Just get a very tiny toothpick and just hook it under it, and then just lift up, and it'll pop it right off. But I'm kind of digging it. I kind of gives it a little bit of a spooky clown vibe. So I'm actually going to add it to the other eye too. I love Halloween, you guys. I'm so excited we're doing this. And I'm just going to dramatize it a bit more. And then because it's me, I'm going to make it like super edgy makeup. Yeah, yes, I'm so happy with this, yes. And then for my eyebrows, just yes. Okay, so then we are all done with our black icing for this one. So there will be a little bit of back and forth going on today. Mainly with this cupcake is the one that we're gonna have the most back and forth. So next is if you want to add any vines or a stem. Now usually I will do my stem in green, but I feel like doing my stem in black icing today really fits the vibe. So instead of like this, I'm actually going to the side of my cupcake, and I am just going to make a blob. So I'm just moving my tip around a little bit as I squeeze. And I'm going to stop and pull. Yes. Cool. If you would like to give it a little extra more and make it kind of look cartoony, you can also, how we did this on the side, take your black icing and do a ring of black icing around the side. It will give it a nice cartoony outline that will help make it pop more if that is more of what you're looking for. I usually like to do that with the skeleton one. It feels right to me. But if you're not doing your stem in black icing and you want to do it in green, you do it the same way I just did, but on your green icing. So we actually need to go wash this one out. Usually I would say just put it on your icing and squeeze it out for a little bit. But the black icing does take a long time for the other colors to switch through. So I do recommend that you take this off and rinse it out in the sink. So I'm gonna go do that really fast, and then we will go over how to make some vines and leaves if you want them on your jack-o'-lantern. You don't have to have them there if you don't want to, but I want them. So I'm going to show you how to do it anyway. And we're back. All right. So to make vines, I usually just make little, like little swirlies, just randomly on the cupcake. So I like to have some coming on the side, kind of like a nice bordery frame type situation going on. Yes. There we go. And then I'm going to stop there, actually. I'm happy with this amount of vines, and I'm only gonna add a couple leaves. So to add leaves, we're gonna use the tip that looks like a V or an alligator mouth, depending on how you're looking at it or your perspective. It is this one. So I'm gonna put that on my green, and I'm gonna show you how to make some leaves. So since I have tiny vines, I don't want really big leaves today. So usually my squeezes are like a 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna make leaves like a 3 or 4, but I'm gonna do like a 1.5 today because I don't want them too big on here. So if you do want your leaves bigger than what mine look like, just same method, just squeeze it in the same spot longer than I do. So to make the leaf, you hold your tip sideways like it is an alligator mouth, like it is going to throw up icing all over your cup. And then we're going to go same spot. Don't move this till the end. 1, 2, stop, and then pull. And you'll get this nice little leaf. If you keep pulling while you're, or if you keep squeezing while you pull, you will still get a leaf, but it'll be very like very hanging potted plant vibe. So if you want little pointy leaves, stop squeezing before you pull back. So do that again. Alligator mouth. 1, 2, stop, and pull. And then when you've got that down sideways, you can take it straight up and down. It's the exact same thing though. So 1, 2, stop, and lift up to have your leaves going in different directions if you'd like. So I'm just gonna add a couple leaves to this, just wherever it feels right for you. And ta-da! We did it! We have our first cupcake, yes! All right, I'm gonna set this jack-o'-lantern down before I like throw him in excitement. So I'm gonna set them there. And then the next cupcake we're going to make is just one of my favorite things to do in general. We're gonna make a monster. So go ahead and pick out whatever cupcake feels like a monster to you. If you are doing 2 cupcakes at a time, and you're like, whoa, slow down. Just go ahead and stop me. I'll be here when you're done. But I'm gonna go ahead and grab my cupcake and start showing you how to make a monster. So for my monster cupcake, I like to use orange and purple. However, orange and black looks really cool too. Any of these colors that came with this kit look awesome with the monster design. So you don't have to do the 2 colors that I'm doing, but I am going to do orange and purple today. And since my orange is already open, I'm going to start with that one. So the tip we will need is personally my all-time favorite tip. Like, I love this tip. Part of why I love this tip is it makes great monster hair. It also makes really cool spaghetti cupcakes. But it is the grass tip. It's the one with a bunch of little holes in it, slash the one that like looks like a thimble. We've got some options for hair because similar to our jack-o'-lantern face, there's no right or wrong way to make a monster. A monster can look however you want. So I love making monster cupcakes. They're always different and they're fun, and I just think they're cool. So I'm going to show you a couple ways you can make some hair. And when your icing starts, I should explain this while I do it. When your icing starts to feel like it's kind of hard to squeeze out, treat it like toothpaste and just fold it down. All right. So one way is you want to hold it a little above your cupcake. You're not actually touching your cupcake. You're a little above. It's like you're really trying to irritate somebody. Like you're in their space, but you're like, I'm not touching you. That's what we're going to be doing to our cupcake. And then you can either squeeze in the same spot for 1, 2, 3. Stop and lift up for some little trim hair. Or you can keep squeezing while you lift for some floppy monster hair. Or you can go spaghetti style and just all over your cupcakes. So whichever feels right for you, go ahead and cover your cupcake in that. What I usually do is I like to do either the first or the second option. I said it's a little tiny hair or floppy hair. And I will leave spaces because then I'm going to go in with another color and do the same thing. However, if you're like, I don't know where I want those yet, go ahead and just cover your whole cupcake in whatever hair you want. And then we can worry about the second color when we get to the second color. It's just more icing you get to eat. So I'm going to put some little and then we'll talk about what's next. Ta-da! I just left my squishy hair there. It's just more icing for me. So now, since I'm going to use purple, I'm going to put this on my purple, and I'm going to fill in my gaps. Now, if you don't want your monster to have like crazy sporadic hair like I do, to where it's like purple, orange, purple, orange, purple, orange, purple, orange, purple, orange all over it, you can do a half and half side. Or you can do like big polka dots. Like you can do purple fur in a circle here. You have all the options, just whatever feels right for you. But I like doing this sporadic. I'm a fan of color, so I'm like, color, 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 color. Already got eyes. I need to calm down. So I'm going to go ahead and put my grass tip on my purple, and I'm going to fill in my cupcake. Yes! We love that. Yes! Well, I love it anyway. Isn't it great? Okay. So now it is time for eyes and teeth. Because you have a whole package of delicious, awesome, gummy monster teeth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some different ways you can make a mouth. So one is you can put it on your cupcake. Or on your cupcake. Or you can get two and have them like this. Like, and then if you have any like strawberry sauce or anything at home, you could totally like add that to your monster if you wanted to spookify it a bit more. It's like the teeth monster from Gravity Falls, but like you can do it like this. Or if you're like, my monster's not scary, they don't have a mouth, they don't have teeth, that's okay. You can still use these, just turn them around and have this side, so then your monster's got like kissy looks instead of bitey teeth. So all I did was just flip them around. And then you can do this one on your cupcake. I don't really recommend this one because of the space, but I want to show you how to do it. So if you want the mouth bigger, okay, take two monster teeth, cut off one little part, which you could also then just take these and put them on like their little fangs if you want instead, or you have a snack. Options, options, options. I love options. And then, since I cut one off of each, I can just squish them together. So then it makes the mouth much bigger. So if you kind of want like a Cheshire cat mouth going on, you can do it that way. Or you can do it to two more of them and have like a really big crazy mouth. Totally up to you. I am just going to do, you know what? I am going to do this long mouth because I've already got it. Usually for this cupcake, I like to just do one like this. It's just usually how I feel for this one with this color scheme. But I'm going to do it this way today. Excellent decision. Yes. And you can leave it like this if you want. Or you can even, your monster doesn't have to have just one mouth. I'm throwing teeth everywhere over here, you guys. But you can just stick teeth all over it. That'd be part of your monster design if you want. You don't have to just use one or two. You can use however many you want. Just remember, if you want to make another monster later that you want to use teeth for, just set your teeth aside. But the next thing, this is honestly my favorite candy that we have. They taste like the sticks in Fondant. We have a package of candy eyes. So I'm just going to use 3. But again, you have a lot of candy eyes here. So you could, we do usually use at least 2 candy eyes and 2 other cupcakes. So set aside 4 to be safe, or no, not 4, set aside 8 to be safe. Yes, I can math. Set aside 8 to be safe. But aside from that, you can do however many eyes you want. And if you're like, well, I don't want a mouth now. Get rid of the mouth then and just make it a spooky eyeball monster. Like, it's so awesome. Okay. So, I will show you what one looks like. So you can get one. Or you can have 2. I like to do 3. Yes. You could even put them in the mouth like it's eating like a bunch of eyeballs. Like you you could have a no eye monster, or you could have eyes. And if you have the open mouth, you could fill it with some eyeballs, like it's munching on them. I like options. But I'm going to stop here because they're adorable. And if you would like, you can put that little circle tip back on your black icing if you want to add any angry eyebrows or some eyelashes or just any more like polka dots or anything to it. Go for it. But there is my monster. This is Fred. Yeah, they feel like a Fred to me. So I'm going to set Fred aside, and I'm going to go ahead and move on to the next cupcake, which is going to be a ghost. So I'm going to pick out whichever cupcake feels most like a ghost to me, but I do have to sample one of these candy eyes first. They're my favorite. They really are. Okay, back to business. They really are my favorite. I'm not lying. And we're back. So for my ghost, I'm going to use the white icing, and then I'm going to put the tip we haven't used yet, which is the open star. So it's the circle with the spikies. Circle, spikies, circle, spikies. And put that on here. And then this cupcake, we want it to have a little bit of height. So I'm actually going to make a couple rings on my cupcake first, and then we'll talk about how to build them up. So I like to start on the edge, but it really doesn't matter. We're not really going to see this base layer that much. It's just kind of there to give us a little bit of when we add everything else, just a little more height. So I start on the edge, but you can start in the middle if you want. And I am not quite touching my cupcake. I'm a little bit above it, and I'm just going to draw circles. And they don't have to be perfect. And I'm going to fill it in. Ta-da! So now, another reason I like to do rings is it makes the next part a lot easier for me to explain. I'm not going on this ring, but I'm going to go on the next one in. So it's a little offset as we go. So it's going to go whoop instead of whoop. So I'm going on that second ring. You can go to the third one instead if you want. Or if you didn't do rings, almost like, not the center of your cupcake, but like, whoop. So not the edge, but not the center. And then I'm just going to make another ring. And then I am swirling it in. And then I'm going to do one more swirl on top and just give it a little boom. Ta! And then all we do is we add a mouth. So I like my ghost to look like my ghost is scared. So I'm going to take that round tip. And it won't take me very long to get all the green icing out of here and to get the black icing. And I don't think I'm going to use this tip with any other color aside from black moving forward. So I'm just going to go ahead and stick it on there, come to my paper towel and squeeze it out for a little bit. And then I like to use candy ice for the eyes. So I only draw the mouth with this, but if you would rather draw your eyeballs instead of using the candy ice, you can totally do that. But I'm just going to do a little circle because is how I like my ghost. But feel free to add whatever kind of mouth you want. So pick a spot to be the front of your cupcake. I like this. I like when it's going like boop. So I'm going to put the front right here. And on the side, I'm just going to make a little circle. And then I'm going to take 2 candy eyes. And then it is up to you. So I'm a fan of cartoony things. So I like to put my eyes really close together. The closer together you have them, the more cartoony your cupcake will look. So before you stick them on, you can play with spacing if you would like. Before actually sticking them on there, they're so tiny it's hard for you to see. But you could play around with how far apart you want your eyes, and then when you find what you're like, yes, this is the one, then you can just stick them right in. I'm going to stick them pretty close together because I feel like it helps them look shocked. And that's it, you guys. That is all there is to our ghost. So I'm going to go ahead and set him down, and I'm going to get ready for our next cupcake, which is one of my other, I mean, this whole kit is like my favorite kind of cupcakes. Like, let's be real, but we're going to make a skeleton next. So I am going to use white icing for my skeleton. You can take the tip off, or you can leave it on there because this tip it's pretty open, so it won't take forever or be really hard on your hands to squeeze some icing on there. Or you can just take it off. Either way is totally fine, but we are gonna smooth it out just like we did with the first part of our jack-o'-lantern. So I'm gonna get that. Ta-da! Magic. So now we're going to make a skeleton face, which is similar to our jack-o'-lantern face. And our monster. You can make whatever kind of skeleton face you want. I'm going to go with like some Nightmare Before Christmassy vibes going on. So I'm going to have like a big circle and then like a half circle over here and a squiggly mouth and like But again, you can make your face however you want because we're just using this tip to draw. But if you want to see how to make kind of like a Jack Skellington-ish vibes cupcake, because we're not like 100% making him, but it's got some vibes. It's got some Nightmare Before Christmas vibes going on. This is how you do it. So I'm going to make a big circle. And then over here, I draw like a and then I connect it. And then I put 2 little lines for the nose. And then I just do a squiggle for the mouth. And then I add 2 little arcs to the end of my mouth, like these things, the lines that happen on your face. And then you can have him like this, but I want a little more, so I had little like stitch lines along the mouth. I don't know any other way to describe what they would look like, but they're kind of like stitch lines. Yes. And I want to talk about this. So this round tip is notorious. Like you can already see these little points that are sticking up. So if you're looking at these and you're like, I don't like these points, like I want them to be leveled out, it is totally okay. If you just let this sit for maybe 2 minutes, it will stiffen up enough from being in the air that you can go back and lightly tap them and they'll go away. But if you try and do it right now, our icing is still too fresh. So it's just going to keep sticking to your finger and making more points. So if you do have some little points and you don't want them in your design, just let it sit for a little bit once you're done drawing all your things, and then you can lightly go in and just tap them down and they'll go away. But I'm going to go ahead and fill in my eyes now. Yep, that one's already ready. Yes, I can already tappy tap them. That was fast. Ta-da! So you can stop here, but if you want to go that extra mile step and make it just a little bit more cartoony, I'm going to take this, and I'm not going on the top, I'm going on the side, and I'm just going to make a ring all the way around. And if you can't do it in one swoop, like if you have to stop squeezing, it's all right. There's a little tail on your tip, so go ahead and just wipe that off, and then you can put your tip right where you stopped, squeeze a little bit, and then you're all good to go and your lines are connected again. Ta-da! It just gives it a little extra pop. So if you would like a little extra pop, that's what you can do, but that is a fur skeleton. Yes! Oh my gosh, we're moving through these. Literally, we already have 2 cupcakes left. Like, time is just flying, guys. So the next one that I want to make and show you how to make is a spider. So to start with our spider cupcake, aside from picking out which one you want, we do need to put a background color down. I like to use purple for this one. I like my spider web to be purple and black. It's just what I like for this one. If you want to change it up at all, you totally can. Again, they are your cupcakes. But I'm going to do a purple background because I want my spider web to be purple and black. And that is the first part to making our spider cupcake. Because we need something for our spider to sit on, and in my brain, I'm like, oh, well then it needs a spider web. So I'm gonna go ahead and get my cupcake set up, and then I'm gonna take that purple icing, and I'm going to blah, 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 and then I'm gonna smooth it out just like we did with our skeleton and with our jack-o'-lantern, and then I will show you the next step. Ta-da! So now I'm gonna take my black icing, and I have that round tip on there, and we're gonna make kind of like a bullseye situation going on. So you can start at the edge or you can start in the center. Doesn't really matter. I usually start on the edge, but that's just where I like to start. I don't know why. It's just what I do. But I'm going to make a circle along the edge, and this time I am going on top of my cupcake instead of on the side of it. And then I'm going to make another one that's a little more in, so I'm leaving spaces in between. Let me show you what I mean. Like this. And I'm going to do that again so there's some space in between these lines. Or these circles. These rings. And I have enough room to do another one. And then sometimes I just put a little dot in the center. Just depends on how I'm feeling. Ta-da! Alright, so now we're going to take our spatula, and just like we made those lines in our jack-o'-lantern, we're going to make lines here, but we're going to start in the center. And I want to drag it through the icing. I don't want to be like I actually kind of want to stick it in there a little bit. Gonna wipe that. Well, I mean, I'm eating it, so whatever. But I'm going to stick it here and then drag it. This is my favorite way to make spider webs. So I just go like that, starting in the middle each time, and just boop, 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 in a circle until I think they look neat. I usually do it once and then decide if I want to go back and add any in between. I love doing this. It's so cool. Isn't that awesome? It's my favorite way to make a spider web. And you know what? Usually I want to go back and add more, but I'm pretty satisfied with this, so I'm going to leave it as it is. So if you're like, well, I want more like pointy bits, then just go ahead and make another line in between your triangles, and it'll just make your web more intricate. But I'm digging how this looks, so I'm going to set this aside, move my spatula, and go back to my little bag of fun, and we are going to play with dun 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 dun. Fondant! Yes! So if you've never played with fondant before, fondant is basically like Play-Doh you can eat. It's awesome. And it also tastes way better than Play-Doh. But how I like to open it is I cut the top off, and then I slide my scissors down the side and cut it like that. And that way I can leave it in this kind of like candy bar shape. It's just easier for me to remember how much I need when it's in that shape. However, if you rip it out in chunks, and it's all over, it is totally okay, because one of the best parts about fondant is we can shape it. So we can always ball it back up, and I'm going to be showing you how much we need for every cupcake. So if you don't pull it out in a perfect little rectangle, it's totally okay. And for this cupcake, I usually use about half. And then we need separate pieces. So we need our spider's butt and our spider's head and our spider's legs. So I pick one piece to be the butt, and I like that one to be bigger. And I didn't quite get that half. Yeah, I do use half for this one. There we go. So I'm going to use this piece for my butt. I'm going to use this piece for my head. And then we'll talk about legs here in a second. So I got my butt and my head. So then I like to mush it up just a little bit. It should be nice and soft, but I also just like to play with it with my hands. And then we're going to roll it into a ball. And I'm going to do the same thing with the other one. Go ahead and roll into a ball. So they will sit on our cupcake like this. And all of our legs are going to go underneath. So I'm going to set this here, that way I can do size comparison while I do it. And then I just rip off random chunks of my fondant. We're going to need 8 chunks. Perfect. And then I squish each one of those, and then I roll it into a ball, and then this time it is like we're playing with Play-Doh. I make a tube snake. It is up to you how long or thick you want them to be. I actually like this. So I'm just gonna go ahead and make all my tube snakes. Alrighty, so I like my spider a little offset. I don't know why, it's just how I like to do it. But you can put them in the center if you want. And I start with my legs. So I put 4 this way, and I like my legs to be long enough that I can make them hug the cupcake. Or if you want, another thing you can do is just bend them a little bit. So it's tube snake, hook, hoop. So then your legs are like that instead, if you would like. I actually think I'm gonna do, yeah, I'm gonna do a couple that way and a couple that are like hugging. Yes. And then I am going to make these. Then I'm going to do the same thing to the other side. Alright, oh, I almost alternated them, but I don't think I'm going to, actually. I think I'm going to have the same pattern. And if you feel like a leg is too long, just rip some off. So if you want your spider to be more creepy than what I'm about to show you, we're going to cartoonify this spider a little bit. But if you do want it to be more creepy, you could get even the grass tip and just do like a tiny, like, to have like little tiny orange eyes. Or you could also, it's hard to see on camera, but they are, since this is a little bit more glossy than the fondant, it will give you tiny little reflective eyes if you want to do little dots with this instead. But I'm going to make it kind of cartoony, and I'm only going to give my spider 2 eyes instead of 8. But if you do want to give your spider 8 eyes, I just recommend using this round tip. I am going to put 2 little dots. See, it's slightly different enough that if you do the black icing, you can still see them. And then I'm going to put my candy eyes on them. And then I am going to take my white icing with the star tip, which if you want them smaller, you can use the round tip, just rinse it out first. Or you could even use the little corner of your monster teeth for these fangs if you want instead. Or do what I'm about to do and just take this with the star tip. And I'm not going to make them very big. I'm just going to come next to it and do like a 1. I let that one sit for a little bit. So 1, yes. And 2, like he's got to boom. And that is how we make a spider. And then I am going to very lightly, tap these. Yes. And there we go, you guys. All right, well, it is time for our last cupcake. So our last cupcake is more of like a free-for-all. So what I do is I just take all of the colors and put random tips on there and just put them all over the cupcake. I put every color on the cupcake. And then I like to write something Halloween-y. So I will put all my colors down very similar to how we did our monster. And then I'll go back and I'll write something on it. So I'm going to go ahead and put a bunch of random colors down, and then I'll show you how you can write and make it like pop, because it is a very color heavy cupcake. So that way it'll stand out a bit more for you. So I'm going to go ahead and just, there's no right or wrong way to put the colors on here. You don't have to do all of them if you don't want to, but I'm going to do all of them but black because I want to do my writing in black. So I'm just going to see what happens. So that's what I did today. I love it. And then I'm just gonna write boo, but you could write Happy Halloween if you want, although it is kind of hard to fit Halloween onto the cupcake, but it can be done if you want to do that. You can write yay, or spooky, or ooh, just a bunch of O's, or you can draw a heart instead if you want, or scary face. You don't have to write anything if you don't want to, but I'm gonna write boo. So I'm gonna take that round tip. And then this time I do it and then I double up my lines so it's thicker and it stands out more. And I'm also going to add 2 candy eyes into the O's. So I'm just going back and doubling up those lines. And then I'm gonna take some candy eyes. And if you want it to pop out more than it is, you can go ahead and put it on and put the round tip. You'll have to rinse it out, but you can put it on another color. Like for instance, the white. If you look at your My Make Studio box, there is, the boo is outlined in the white icing. So all it is just that round tip, and then you just go back around and outline it. So I'm gonna go ahead and rinse out my tip so you can see what that would look like. Ta-da! So that's what it looks like with an outline, and that is it, you guys. That is the Halloween Cupcake Kit. Yes! And that is it, you guys. That was the Halloween Cupcake Kit. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you had fun. Look at them. They're so cool. I love Halloween. But if you would like to share your photos with us, you can go to mymakestudio.com and click on the Chef Chayla tab, and there will be an option where you can upload your photos, and you'll also become part of our Bakers Club and get a certificate from me. And I, for one, love seeing what you guys do because, yes, I'm showing you some things and some step-by-step-y whatnots. But in my world, cupcakes and cakes are just art that you can eat, and art is unique just like you are. So you guys always put your own spins and personalities into them, and I just think that is the coolest thing ever. So I love, I for real love seeing what you guys do. If you would like to share your cupcakes with us, that is how you do it. Just mymakestudio.com, Chef Chayla tab, and then you become part of the Bakers Club as well. But if you don't want to share them, that is okay. They're your cupcakes. I hope that either way you had fun and you're happy with them. I'm just excited everyone came today. And I mean, since we are talking about the website, if you need more Halloween in your life, we also have a square graveyard cake and a monster cake and a Halloween unicorn. Or if you're like, okay, well, what about not Halloween related? We have a ton of not Halloween related things too. We've got beaches, we've got geodes, we've got all kinds of stuff on there. So if you need a little more sweetness in your life, go ahead and check that out on our website too, which again is mymakestudio.com. And then if you would like to follow any of our social medias, all of our social media is at My Make Studio. So our Instagram, our Facebook, and our TikTok are all at My Make Studio. Our Facebook and Instagram are good places to follow just to see what upcoming events we have going on. Like maybe we're coming somewhere near you for an in-person class, or we've got a new and upcoming kit. It's just, those are good places to follow for that. And then the TikTok is a little dive into my world. Like if you want to see how I did my hair or my makeup or what my dog is up to today, those are good places to follow. But again, if you would like, all of our social media is at My Make Studio, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. And lastly, for realsies, you guys, thank you so much for coming today. I hope that you had fun. I hope that you enjoy eating your beautifully spooky creations. And as always, everyone, stay creative,